Good morning. Thank you for calling King County 211. This is Rachel. How may I help you?
Every day, King County's 211 Crisis Clinic hears from hundreds of people in desperate need.
Okay, so just yourself and your daughter. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Typically, they're looking for food, legal help, shelter, health care. It could be rent assistance. The highest number of calls that we get is around people looking for financial assistance related to rent and utilities. I can't pay my bills.
Buenos días. Gracias por llamar al condado de.
Out of 1,700 social service agencies, there is one that receives more referrals than any other.
Definitely St. Vincent de Paul.
I'm going to go ahead and just say flat out, I think St. Vincent de Paul is our go-to.
I want to say the highest number of referrals we provided to them in 1 year was over 28,000. So you can just picture, and that's just King County.
Crisis line callers are referred on to the St. Vincent de Paul helpline.
St. Vincent de Paul, this is Tanika. How can I help you?
We are the gateway for when people need assistance. They call our helpline.
How many people is the food for?
200 calls a day flood in. A stressful job for helpline staff.
And how many people live at your address, ma'am?
Lisa estimates helpline calls have gone up around 30% over the last few years.
And there's also the new poor that don't know where to turn. They call us when all hope to them is gone, and then they find out they're St. Vincent de Paul.
The need is relentless. Sometimes we can help with direct service, sometimes we can help with referrals to other services, and sometimes all we can really help with is an ear to listen and a kind word.
Within days, St. Vincent de Paul assigns volunteers to make personal visits to callers. These home visits are considered the very heart of the society.
There is no service that I know of that goes into that many homes to listen to the poor and to their needs and to go there face to face.
So we're going to see Charlene tonight. She's been a client of St. Vincent de Paul for a number of years. Beth and I have seen her on and off pretty regularly for the last couple of years. She's got two daughters, one daughter who lives with her and a grandchild that lives with her, and then another daughter and another grandchild that live in the South End. She's had a host of medical issues. She usually does not have enough money at the end of every month to cover the basic necessities, food, electricity, and rent.
And when I opened it, it said disconnect notice. And so I was like, my heart just dropped. And
Beth and Tom Newman check in with Charlene regularly. She's right there in their own neighborhood.
One block away from people who are doing really well are people who are dealing with rent issues, people who are dealing with medical issues, people who are dealing with figuring out how to live. And you can sit down with somebody and really help them. I think a huge piece of that is the sitting down, is the listening.
I don't feel like they're just, these strangers coming into my house to help me out. I consider them my friends. When I say I love them, I mean it, because that's what they've shown me, and I appreciate that.
Trying to figure out what you've done. And
I've been without lights here, and it was really hard because when my lights got shut off, I feel like I let my daughter down. There's nothing worse than not being able to take care of your home. They gave that last little bit that I needed to get my lights turned back on. And so when I say grateful, I'm grateful. I am truly grateful for St. Vincent because they've been a blessing to me, truly a blessing.
Every client is different. Kareem Muhammad only needed assistance once.
He really struck me as someone who just hit hard times and was not going to stay down for long.
Kareem had become seriously ill and fallen behind on his rent. Suddenly, he was homeless.
If they didn't help me, I'd be in a terrible situation. I don't know exactly what would happen, to me. So I can't help but feel blessed all the time, all the time.
How's life going for you, Leo? Good.
St. Vincent de Paul is committed to a deeper, more systematic approach to helping the poor that goes far beyond groceries and utility relief. Some clients with chronic needs are placed in the Society's unique case management program.
We work with people up to a year and a half, recognizing that to really turn one's life around is a long-term project.
The goal is self-sufficiency. Case management helps people with criminal backgrounds, mental health issues, job loss, housing challenges, and addictions.
They're trying to get out of poverty, trying to take ownership of their lives and make a new start. And we're facilitating that new start.
Case managers use a key treatment method called cognitive behavioral therapy.
Essentially what that is really helping people establish healthy thinking patterns that helps readjust how they identify themselves in the world and how they navigate the challenges that we all face in this world.
It's thinking about what your steps are going to be. I'm in the recovery program, and if I get tempted by using alcohol or anything like that, like to play it through, you know, what the pros and cons will be.
The Society's counselors have helped Ethan make dramatic progress. He also gets support through Case Management's companion program.
It's called Ministry of Presence. So it's just being with a person, not necessarily doing anything that's structured.
Volunteers Vince Herberhold and his wife meet with Ethan every week. It's hard to say who's getting the biggest benefit.
I think we probably are as much transformed by this as Ethan is.
I was at the bottom.
Harold Thompson is a veteran who suffered for years from post-traumatic stress disorder. Untreated, his problems led to addiction, homelessness, and despair. Without help, he believes
I'd be dead. Honestly. I was at my wit's end. I didn't care about anything or anyone. If I hadn't come to St. Vincent de Paul, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you now.
Today, Harold is off the streets, in recovery, and progressing through therapy.
It's helped me to open up and talk with someone about things I thought I would never talk to anyone about. And it's like a weight lifted off my shoulders.
St. Vincent de Paul is the way to get help if you want help.
Mary London came to St. Vincent's after years in prison. She says the Society changed her life.
But before I went to prison and got out of prison, I never thought about St. Vincent de Paul no more than getting food for my kids. I never thought that they had the kind of help that they reach out to help people. Now I would recommend anybody that want to help themselves that's coming out of prison or need help to go through St. Vincent de Paul.
We're really just helping people access the giftedness that's within them. They just haven't had the social opportunity to do so.
They've lifted up my self-esteem. I'm doing a lot more volunteer service, so I'm paying back to the community and just spreading more love around. Yeah.
I love myself. I love the person I am. And I love the people that God have put in my path and put in front of me for me to better myself. And if it wasn't for St. Vincent de Paul today, I don't know where I would be.
The Society of St. Vincent de Paul has changed my life. And it's a life worth changing.